Hi everyone, welcome back. Thanks for joining us today. We've got a brand new story to share with you. So let's begin. My name's Kelvin. And let me just say, one incident can harden you in ways you never imagined. You go through something so shocking, so humiliating, that you come out on the other side completely different. I know because I lived through it. Now, I want to be honest with you up front. This story might sound cringy to some of you because, I messed up. I didn't see the red flags. I didn't listen to the people around me. I let love blind me. And I made some decisions that I wish I could take back. And I get it, it's easy to sit on the outside and say, I would never fall for that. But the truth is, when you care about someone deeply, you can lose your sense of judgment without even realizing it. But if you stick around till the end, I promise you, you'll learn from my mistakes. You'll see how everything unfolded, where I went wrong, and what I ignored. I just want to share it as it happened, so that someone out there won't end up going through the same thing I did. So, if you've ever given too much of yourself to someone, or you're in a relationship that just doesn't feel right, but you keep telling yourself it'll work out, then this story is for you. Let's get into it. Let me take you back to how everything started, to when I met Samantha. We connected through a friend, a female friend of mine I trusted. She said she knew someone who might be a good match for me. That was Samantha. I remember our first meeting like it was yesterday. It was awkward. I kept overthinking everything I said, and Samantha seemed polite but distant. There were weird silences, and the conversation felt forced at times. But despite that, something about her pulled me in. Whatever it was, I felt it. We didn't click right away, but with time, things got better. We started texting, meeting up for lunch, and hanging out on weekends. Slowly, the tension between us faded. I began to feel like this could work. Looking back now, I realize I was the one pushing things forward. I was the one showing more interest. But I justified it by telling myself, she just doesn't know me yet. When she does, the love will balance out. I truly believe that. I thought love just needed time. But I was wrong. I was always the one texting first. Always the one planning the dates. Always the one adjusting my schedule to fit hers. Even when I noticed this imbalance, I ignored it. I told myself, that's what love is. You give. But the truth is, I was giving too much, too soon, without checking if she was giving anything back. After about 6 months of getting to know each other, we made it official. We were now a couple. And from the outside, everything looked perfect. People around us would say we were relationship goals. We took cute pictures, shared funny videos, traveled together, and posted those matching outfits. I supported her dreams. I treated this lady like an egg. I gave her everything I could. My time, my energy, my attention, my money, my loyalty. One of my close friends pulled me aside one day and said, "Bro, you're doing way too much. You're carrying this relationship on your head. She's not doing half of what you're doing." But I brushed it off. I told him, it doesn't matter. What matters is that we love each other. I even said something that still haunts me to this day. I told him, love isn't a scoreboard. Looking back now, I wish I had listened to that friend. I really do. Because sometimes love is a scoreboard, not in the petty sense, but in the real sense. If only one person is scoring and the other is just watching, then it's not a relationship. It's a performance. And I was the only one performing. After 2 years of being with Samantha, I was more sure of my feelings than ever. 2 years together, a lot of ups and downs, and despite the warnings from some of my friends, I was still convinced that I was in the right relationship. This was the woman I wanted to spend the rest of my life with. So, I started making plans for the proposal. I wanted it to be special. I wanted it to be private, just a few close friends and family who knew what we had been through. I partnered with her cousin to plan it all out. We talked about the details, the location, everything. I thought this moment would be perfect, something we could look back on for the rest of our lives. This was supposed to be the beginning of something incredible, a clear statement of my commitment. And I truly believed she would feel the same way. So, the day came and I was more nervous than I had ever been in my life. I mean, it's a huge moment, right? I was scared, but there was this certainty in me. I thought I knew what love looked like. I thought I knew what it felt like. This was my way of showing her that I was all in, that I was ready for whatever came next. As I knelt down, I could feel the weight of the moment. I thought she'd be over the moon. I thought the look on her face would be one of joy, maybe even tears. That's how it was supposed to go in my head, anyway. But what happened next wasn't at all what I expected. The moment she saw me down on one knee, she just laughed. Then she said, "You weren't supposed to take this seriously." I wish I could say I didn't believe it at first, but the look in her eyes made everything painfully clear. It wasn't a joke. She wasn't surprised. She wasn't emotional. She was dismissive. And then, just like that, she turned and walked away. Left me kneeling, humiliated in front of everyone, while her best friend stood there filming the entire thing. I couldn't move. I couldn't speak. I just sat there, a fool, in front of the people who were supposed to be part of this special moment. It wasn't just a failed proposal. It was a public spectacle. The footage of me on my knee, waiting for a response, was posted online. And within hours, it had gone viral. I became the joke of the year. The video was shared everywhere, with the title "Cringe Proposal of the Year." People didn't just laugh at me, they tore me apart. I was ridiculed on social media, mocked in every comment section, and made into a meme. It wasn't just strangers who were commenting. Friends and acquaintances I thought I knew started to share the video too. It felt like everyone was getting a kick out of watching me get humiliated. For over a week, I couldn't bring myself to leave my apartment. I didn't want to face anyone. I didn't want to go outside and run into people who had seen the video. It felt like the whole world was laughing at me, and every time I heard someone talk about it, it just made the humiliation even worse. I was heartbroken. I had given her everything. I had trusted her, loved her, put my heart on the line. And in return, she didn't just reject me. She made sure the world saw it. It was too much to bear. I just wanted it all to stop. But the more I tried to hide, the worse it got. I couldn't escape. So here's where everything flipped. I was still reeling from that video going viral when the truth finally came out. And I gotta tell you, it hit me harder than I ever thought it would. My friend, who had introduced me to Samantha, finally exposed everything to me. At first, I thought it was just a rumor. I wasn't ready to believe it. But as she kept talking, my heart sank, and I realized I'd been blind to everything. Apparently, the whole proposal thing, the one that ruined me in front of everyone, wasn't some random event. No, Samantha knew about it, a full week before I even went down on one knee. Her cousin had accidentally let it slip in a group chat. Can you imagine? All that time, I was planning and thinking it would be a surprise. She was already in on it, and it was way worse than I imagined. She let it happen. She didn't try to stop it and tell me in private, "Hey, maybe we should rethink this." No, she made me look like a fool in front of everyone. Even worse, she actually picked her outfit for the proposal. She wanted to make sure she looked perfect for the moment, for maximum reaction. She knew exactly what she was doing. She let me kneel there, the way I had planned it, knowing damn well what would happen next. Why? Because she wanted to teach me a lesson. I also learned that she had been playing me this whole time. She didn't really love me. All that talk about being in love, about building a life together, it was all just words. She had been cheating on me with her ex the entire time, the same guy she'd swore was just a friend. She claimed he meant nothing to her, but it turns out that was all a lie. She had never let go of him and never stopped seeing him. The whole time, I was blinded by my feelings for her, too busy thinking I was the one she loved, the one she wanted a future with. But I was just a placeholder, someone to keep around until she got what she really wanted. Looking back now, it's so clear. I was so caught up in trying to prove I was the perfect boyfriend that I didn't stop to ask the important questions. Did she love me the same way I loved her? No. She didn't care about me nearly as much as I cared about her. And that's what hit me the hardest. I didn't just mess up by proposing at the wrong time. I messed up by investing too much in someone who never truly invested in me. In that moment, when the truth came out, I couldn't help but feel like the biggest fool. I gave my all, and she never gave a damn. Once the full story hit the internet, everything changed, and the tables turned. At first, when she humiliated me, people laughed. But as more details came out, the tide shifted dramatically. Public sympathy flipped in an instant, and suddenly, all the attention that had been focused on me now turned its unforgiving gaze onto her. It was like watching a house of cards fall. She began losing followers by the thousands. It wasn't just old followers who jumped ship, even her new ones unfollowed. People started calling her what she really was: manipulative, a clout chaser, and worst of all, abusive. Her reputation took a hit that she couldn't recover from. The very publicity she had gotten from turning my proposal into a public spectacle, that moment where she left me kneeling in front of everyone, had now backfired spectacularly. The internet turned on her, and it was brutal. As the weeks went on, Samantha learned the hard truth. Her ex didn't want anything serious. He wasn't looking for a relationship. He just wanted to have fun. He didn't want to commit, didn't want to be the guy who plays the role I had played for so long. The hard truth is, sometimes you don't realize what you have until you lose it. After the truth came out, it felt like the fog had lifted. For the first time in months, I could breathe. The public apology I never got from Samantha came in the form of thousands of strangers, finally realizing I wasn't some desperate clown chasing a woman out of my league. I was just a guy who loved the wrong person too much. But even with the sympathy, I still had to live with the pieces of a life I had built around someone who never intended to stay. Picking myself back up was slow, quiet, and honestly really painful. I started focusing on things I had put aside. I took care of myself, physically, mentally, and emotionally. And yeah, after the truth went viral and Samantha got exposed, a few ladies started popping up in my DMs. Some wanted to check in on me. Others were a bit more direct. A few even said things like, "I would never treat you like that," or "You deserve someone who sees your worth." But I wasn't interested. I just couldn't bring myself to go down that road again. Love was the last thing on my mind. My heart wasn't ready, and honestly, neither was my head. I was more focused on getting my life back, piece by piece, without anyone else's hands involved this time. Then came the twist I honestly should have seen coming. One morning, I woke up to a missed call from Samantha. I stared at it for a second, then swiped it away. I went on with my day like nothing had happened. But she didn't stop there. Later that day, she texted me. All it said was, "Please talk with me." I didn't reply. A few hours passed, and more messages came in. "I made a mistake. You didn't deserve that. I still love you." I read them all in silence. I laughed because the nerve she had was unbelievable. After everything, she really thought I'd still be the same guy waiting with a ring. I blocked her number. Even now, as I think back, I realize I enabled a lot of her behavior. I kept making excuses for things that didn't add up. Even now, she still tries to reach me using different numbers. "Let's talk. I miss you." One more chance. But there's nothing left to revive. Whatever we had, or whatever I thought we had, is gone. Completely. And honestly, I'm done with her. Not out of spite, but because I finally respect myself enough to walk away. For good. If you're still watching, thank you. I know this wasn't the easiest story to sit through. It wasn't easy to live, either. But I want to leave you with something. These are hard-earned truths that I had to learn the painful way. You can call me anything you want, a fool, a simp, a slow learner. I've heard it all before. Maybe I was all of those things. But if you can take anything from what I went through, then it wasn't all for nothing. It can stop someone else from going down the same road. So listen up, or better yet, send this video to someone who needs to hear it. First lesson, don't ignore emotional imbalance. If you ever feel like you're the only one showing up, the only one giving, while the other person just receives and barely gives back, that's not love. That's imbalance. I kept telling myself that she would catch up, that the love would balance out eventually. It never did. I was pouring water into a basket and convincing myself it would someday fill up. That's not how real love works. It's supposed to go both ways. If you're the only one trying, stop. That's not love. That's slow self-destruction. Second, listen to your friends when they see red flags. Not everyone in your life is a hater. Some people genuinely care. I had a friend point out how much more I was doing for Samantha than she was doing for me. But I brushed it off. I told myself, they just don't get it. She's just not expressive like that. But the truth is, they saw what I didn't want to admit. They weren't trying to ruin my relationship. They were trying to save me from exactly what happened. Sometimes, your friends can see clearly when your heart is too involved for you to think straight. Don't ignore the people who care about you. The third lesson, blind love is dangerous. It sounds sweet when people say, I love blindly, but trust me, blind love is just another word for losing yourself. I gave too much. I excused too much. I tolerated things I should have walked away from. And in the end, I got burned. Love without boundaries isn't love. It's emotional suicide. Fourth, never build your life around someone who won't even make space for you in theirs. I planned my life around Samantha. My future, my money, my time, everything was pointing toward her. But she couldn't even give me basic respect. She saw me kneeling with a ring and chose to laugh. She couldn't make space for me, not even for a moment of decency. Don't ever sacrifice your peace or plans for someone who wouldn't blink before stepping on you. Finally, you teach people how to treat you by what you tolerate. That's the hardest pill I had to swallow. The signs were always there. I just kept making excuses. What I didn't realize was that every time I let it slide, I was teaching her that I would always take it, that I would always stay, no matter what she did. And she ran with that idea. So set your limits. Speak up when something doesn't feel right. And if they keep crossing the line, then it's time to draw one they can't cross anymore. Now I'll ask you, what would you have done if you were in my position? Would you have walked away earlier? Would you have proposed anyway? Let me know in the comments. I really want to hear your thoughts. If you found any part of this story valuable, please like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and drop a comment below. If you want more real stories like this, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for staying with me till the end.